Hello everyone, and welcome to our Circle and Salve Women. Today for my 101, I'm going to discuss or talk about my latest article, that book and its cover. And so it starts off me telling you how I used to love being that child in a room full of so much wisdom around me. So that would entail that I would be sitting there as quietly as I could to listen in on adult conversations. And if I was really quiet and I was unnoticed, I would not be shooed away, as I most often was. So it was very priceless for me to hear all of that adult talk, because I wasn't entangled in any of whatever was spoken or discussed or commiserated amongst people. It was more of, I could see the gestures or reactions, the words that were being exchanged and spoken amongst all, mostly women, that were in the room. And so for me, it was fun as a kid to feel that you could actually listen in and all of that wisdom. As I got older, however, most especially now in my years of having become pretty much a senior in the adult life, I realized that being an adult, it takes so much more of care, a lot of really feeling as if you're scrutinized for everything you say and do, because you have to be careful. The things that you plant into people's hearts and their spirits, in their minds, could really take a toll on them. But I also have gotten to that point in my life where I'm comfortable, and I always feel that if I know that I'm of light, that I know that I am walking around in good spirit, then whatever will come out of me will be something that I hope will then empower other people and strengthen others and get them into that right direction. So the story that I have shared with you in this article, that book and its cover, is about someone at the gym that I most frequent. And I tell you, over about 2 years ago, it seems so weird that it's been over 2 years ago because of COVID times, but at the gym, there was this lady that every time you saw her, she was either muttering to herself, just mumbling, and you could tell it was not of good vibe. She was definitely having anger and a lot of fury into her, just her aura. And so in the sauna is mostly where I would find her sitting and talking. And you know, when you're in the sauna, it's hot, and you're really just trying to just sweat out whatever toxins you have in your system, but you're also listening in if someone was to have to converse with one another. And for the most part, I always felt like this woman was not really knowing anybody by name in the room whenever she came in, but she had so much that was bottled down inside of her that right away she would just start talking. And so for me, I felt like, hey, this is my finish line, because when I'm done working out, that's what I do. I go into the sauna. And so for me, it's always like, you're here to stay for however minutes you said you're going to stay, and you're going to stay put. So it was never where I'd say, oh, I'm going to just step out if I don't like it, and I'm going to come back in and so forth. That's just not who I am. So I would sit there. And I always felt like by coincidence, she would be in there at the same time with me. And there she was, just really expressing herself in a very angry way, always stating how much she had lost trust in the world and that she couldn't really trust anyone anymore. And you know, several people would just start to get up and leave, or that people would put on their earbuds and just kind of look away, doing whatever people felt was comfortable for them to either exit or just not partake in any of her whatever vibe she was trying to carry and put on to others. And as for me, because I was drawn to that from some of the things that I have heard from other people, and just always curious about getting to know others. I never really liked the drama. I never wanted to partake in the drama, but I really wanted to understand where the drama was coming from. And I was always convinced it was something deeper than what they were expressing. And in this case, I was right. I just allowed her to talk, and I could sense that she knew I was listening because she just continued to go at it. And then before I knew it, I realized at that point where that pain was coming from. Just that very first time I heard her talk in a sauna, the state had taken her son away. And right away, right when she spoke those words, I tell ya, for me, I don't know anyone else who stayed in the room. There's probably like one other person that stayed in a room. For me, it was more of a pain that struck in my heart, because as a mother, I right away couldn't fathom anyone stripping me of any of my children. And so it's different when they decide to go, right? But when someone is literally taking your child away from you, and it was not something that you had anticipated, that you had planned, that they had even spoken of, that you guys have dealt with. And this is what I learned was a young child. I right away realized, oh boy, this person, their book was definitely so much within its cover of just fury and anger, and people were just not wanting to hear any of it, walking away, not want to listen. And it just took that moment for her to say, they took my son away. And the only thing I could tell her was, you will be fine, all will be well. In more or less words, I told her, because your son is worth fighting for, and all will be bigger and stronger in the long run. And she always would just look up quickly at me, not to really look at me straight in the eye, but then all of a sudden she'd get up in this rage, like not directly toward me, but just get up and go. And something told me in my heart, don't give up on this one, you'll see her again. And I had actually hoped to see her again, because I felt like it was really important for me to keep going with this, that just to keep instilling in her whatever I could. And it wasn't that I felt that I owed her anything. It was more something inside of me that was compelled to know, and almost feeling that I will run into her again, and I best be ready to say something that would keep building her up in the right direction. And sure I did. And you'd see her outside still, just whatever it was that was in her system that she would just be muttering out and so forth, still angry, with so much fury in her. But I'd already known that much, which was a big part, that this woman had a child taken from her. And so for me, instead of me enabling that and saying, I'm so sorry, I can empathize with you, I can't. I'm just going to be real. And I instead said to myself, I'm going to turn that around to strength, so that every time I have an opportunity, I will feed her the strength that I can give and offer. And so once again, I'd see her in the sauna, and she would again blurt out. And you have to understand, she would never just go and tell people that they had taken her son away. So whenever she would just be in this state of mind, and you wouldn't know, many people wouldn't know why. And so because she would be so loud, because she would be so angry, many people would just politely do their best to leave, or just put on their earbuds and kind of go into a corner. As for me, I had learned that much, which was more than enough for me. And so I would let her again talk, because something told me, just let her go, let her vent out, let her be. And as soon as I had a moment in there, I would always just say to her, all will be well, you're beautiful, you're strong, you are going to make great of this, and you will see your son again. So post-COVID times, it's been a year, and I ran into her again. And it was interesting, because it was like yesterday. She still had that in her, this anger, that it was almost like it was postponed, and it was like a to be continued because of COVID times. And when the gym reopened and she was in the sauna reopened, I was very happy with that. it was almost as if she continued on where she had left off. And sure enough, she was saying these things. And I'd walked in, two other ladies were already in the room, and you can tell there was silence in the room other than her speaking. And at this point, there was just some calm and peace in me, and I was very happy to have seen her. And, you know, the other ladies were familiar to me as well around the gym, but I just sat down, and as soon as she started to speak, I just came out of me. How is your son? And from a mother to mother, I felt her pain. Like, how dare you? And she looked very briefly at me once again, and I could tell that she recognized me, but at the same time, she just went ahead and explained what they had done. The state had taken her child because the neighbors had called in and, more or less words, found her to be an unfit mom, and now she doesn't trust anyone. Put yourself in that position, because I surely did. I don't care how unfit of a mother she was, but for someone to be stripped of their child. You know, for me at that point, as a mother, I found myself on her side. And once again, she probably forgot, that she had gone that far to tell me, and that I'd already known that much. So I told her that all would be well, that she was beautiful and strong, and that she would get her son again, or that she would see him again, because he is worth fighting for. And this one time, she looked at me and she had said, "Your life must be so easy." And I tell you, I needed to hear that, because it was a slam in my face. She said it with so much, not attack, but a statement, that it hurt me to a humbling level. I didn't say anything. I let it sink in, and I realized that she was right. When she got up, once again, stormed out, not heavily, but just left. It was a moment for me to reflect on and realize, all this time, this book and its cover, everybody else judging her, and here I am trying to promote some strength in her and so forth. But it was easy for me, because she's right. My life, compared to what she's going through, is easy. No matter what, I have my chapters, but how I would never dare to have her chapters in my life. And so that really sat in with me, and I pondered on it, and it helped me to grow at that moment. Such growing moments as an adult, where now I can think like an adult, because those were words spoken to me. I wasn't just that little child listening in conversations. That was addressed to me for me to really reflect on. And I had to be at peace with that, because she was right. That's all. That was all. And then the next time I saw her, I didn't even realize that she had acknowledged me at all. Because this time she didn't look at me in the eye or anything like that. But I went into the sauna and I felt her follow me. And perhaps she was going in the same direction. She sat down, and I'm sitting down. And again, I always wait for her to say something. And I felt like that was always a protocol. This time she started talking to me directly without looking at me in the eye. And she said, I have a picture of my son. And oh boy, did that really get me. I was so happy for her, but I remained calm, and I made sure to just let her be in her elation and her joy. And I was just like, wow, that is amazing. She shows me this picture of a happy, healthy looking boy who is now about 10 years old. And she explained to me how she had gotten the picture. And here's something about when someone has been stripped of someone they love for all their life, and their own child. When she expressed it to me and explained it to me, it seemed just like yesterday. When I asked her, when was the last time you got a picture from him? It hit me even more. When she took a time, she really had to think about it. And it was like she was so guarded to actually respond, that it took her time to, again, that mistrust, lack of trust in the world, so understandable. She hesitated to answer. And she finally, with peace, said to me, 4 years. And yet again, that hit me hard. 4 years. And I had thought to myself it had only been like 2 years, because the last time we spoke, it made it seem like it was just so recent. And so she had been carrying this for 4 years, and still she does not have him. And in the article, I explained how she was able to arrive to the picture, found out that she had to give him up for adoption, and so happy to hear that he is with someone who was kind enough. She had quietly, in just one day, found it in her heart to search for the woman's name, find a number, call, leave a message, and there she was with the picture. And she was so at peace. Not the angry woman that I had encountered for those years. Not the one that had stormed out every time. And I don't know if I had anything to do with building strength in her or just giving her light, but it doesn't matter. To me, what I always feel when you run into people is it's a reflection, it's a moment for you to grow. It's a moment for you to reflect upon yourself. And, just to see so much peace in her, and for her to just speak of her son, and that aura that had changed from darkness to light, and that she was okay to have a conversation with me without having to get up and storm out. It's priceless. So my message for today is that book and its cover. We read books because there's something we want to learn or get from it, right? Whether we want to be entertained, whether we want to just really absorb any new knowledge, or reaffirm or build onto more knowledge from what we had before. There's something there that we can always get, and that's how I see people. And in her case, she was one that I was drawn to. I wanted to know about. Because there was something that I felt like I needed from her, and I didn't know what it was. It was in my silence and just listening, like when I was a little kid and I was just listening to the adults. Now, me being an adult, having to trust myself in my gestures, in my words, in what I express. I was happy to have gone through that journey and just seeing her, and then arriving at seeing her at peace. And I know I'll see her more and more, and the more I see her, the more peace I see in her. And I pray that nothing else will take her back, and that she will continue to move forward. And I told her, even if you don't get to see him now, he will search for you when he turns 18, and all will be well. Be grateful that he is in good hands, that the woman was kind enough to respond to you and send you a picture, because it could have been so different. And she said, yeah. So that is my thoughts for you today, is those books and its covers, right? Get to know them. In the words of my mother, God bless us all. Keep doing you. Just know life is good. And if it doesn't feel like it, find strength to just share whatever you can with others, because you never know that whatever your miseries may be, it could be someone's happy day compared to what they're going through. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time.